Now, a Hampshire woman aims to make the county the UK's first smartphone-free school zone by September 2026. Some schools plan bans this September, with policies ranging from locked pouches to phones off in bags. Earlier, we heard from head teacher at the Hurst School, Jane McLaren, who's been using locked pouches for phones since 2021.
The reason I use the pouches is because my particular school is fairly semi-rural, and I felt that children needed a phone to travel to and from school to be safe on the buses and walking home at night. So I thought the pouches were an ideal way of doing it. The banning of mobile phones is one strand of strategy that we then put in place, because you can't take something away from children without supporting them in other ways. So it was part of an overall school improvement strategy. But 18 months later, from banning the phones, our GCSE results went up over 2% against a backdrop of national results coming down. So I felt that was a very clear indicator that it was having some sort of effect.
You'll see a story in the news today that at the moment young people spend 143 minutes on average scrolling on their phones each day, compared with 96 minutes for adults, which I think is kind of a wild statistic, because adults usually would be working or doing a lot, wouldn't they, for a longer period of time. So 96 is high for adults. Joining me now is Claire Ferneyhoff, the co-founder of Smartphone Free Childhood from just outside of Winchester. Claire, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you think the idea that the kind of government has said to head teachers to schools across the country, you decide what you want to do, we'll leave it with you, do you think that's too soft?
I do. I think it puts way too much pressure on the schools to take this into their own hands, which I don't think is really fair. This is a societal problem, and absolutely the government needs to give much, much stronger guidance, because at the moment schools feel like they have to act on their own, and it's a really lonely position to try and tackle this with their parent body. So yeah, absolutely, I really do think the government should, but we know that actually at the moment that's not happening, and that's why we're seeing these schools do these really brave things and change their policies. Because at the moment it really is down to parents and schools. But yeah, absolutely, it would be much better if the government could take some stronger action on this, because it's such an urgent issue.
I've heard some schools talking about trying to find a balance so they can help young people understand how the algorithm works, understand how it is so addictive, and then sort of see their behaviour and moderate it. You know, you learn alongside adults. This is what we've had this morning, is schools saying, no, that is it, no phones. You want to learn those skills, that's not going to happen here. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the approach of helping children to learn this technology safely is what we're doing at the moment. It's not working. That's why we are having children scrolling for hours and hours a day. I think the figure you quoted is conservative. We know some kids are going home and being on it for 8 hours in the evening. We know a school in Bristol banned phones because they found a WhatsApp group in Year 6 had 9,000 messages overnight. So the approach of trying to get them to use it safely isn't working. And the reason for that is because these devices are designed by adults to be addictive. So, you know, it's like us saying, well, let's give them a little bit of vodka when they're 12. We don't do that because as a civilized society, we protect them from harm, and they don't have fully developed brains when they're teenagers. It's not a fair fight to get them to do that. So, and you know, the teachers, the heads, they know this, they're seeing this on a daily basis, which is why they're taking this action. So yeah, I think that argument, which is the argument we hear most often, just simply doesn't work, and it's not fair on the kids. And actually, if you ask kids, a lot of them say that. You know, 43% say they'd rather a world without the internet. They know they're the guinea pig generation. And actually, as adults, we need to be stepping in to protect them rather than letting them kind of learn it on their own. And absolutely, they do need to learn, but later on, not at age 9, 10, 11.
Do you see, on a personal level, Claire, do you see this a little bit like smoking? You know, when smoking came out, everyone thought, oh, it's fine, it's no problem at all. I mean, in the old days, ambulances carried cigarettes and would give you a cigarette if they came to you on the, you know, if you were injured. That's how much they thought they helped relax you. And now looking back, we think that's absolute madness, don't we? We've learnt so much. And then there was resistance. Does it have a similar DNA to it? You know, now you've got multi-billion-pound businesses that want you to buy a phone. Do you see it like that, or not quite as dramatic?
I absolutely see it like that. This is the powers of big tech at play, just as we had big tobacco at play back then. And for a long time, pregnant women were told to smoke; it was good for them. But the problem is, there's money at play, isn't there? So just like smoking, it wasn't in the interest of big tobacco to change their approach. That's what we're now seeing with big tech, and these narratives coming out that actually children need to learn these things. They need to have these devices for their safety. All of these arguments that are really difficult for parents to disentangle. I think we need to be honest. This comes down to money. Our children are a commodity. Their attention is making money for shareholders for these companies.
Do you think the horse has bolted, Claire? I mean, your dream, of course, or your plan, your passion is to get this right the way across the country. And huge respect for that and standing up and going, look, I'm not just going to look at it and shrug my shoulders. I'm going to try and do something about it. You're the co-founder of Smartphone-Free Childhood. But do you think the horse has bolted? Do you really think it's possible to make significant inroads here?
I absolutely do. Going back to those norms that have changed, smoking, seatbelts, norms change when we get the evidence and we realise, hang on, we've done something wrong here. And actually, if you look at what's happened with the Smartphone-Free Childhood movement, we've got, hundreds of thousands of parents all coming together to say, look, we know intuitively that this isn't right. And I think when people come together like that, we can take on the big tech companies because we all know deep down that this is right. So yeah, that's why we're seeing such growing momentum from heads, doctors, parents. Absolutely, norms can change, and that's what's really exciting. We know we've got nearly 100 schools all going smartphone free for next year in Hampshire, and that's happening across the country. So it's actually a really exciting moment for us to all come together and say, no, this is not wrong.
Claire, thank you for your time. Thank you very much indeed. Claire Ferneyhoff there, co-founder of Smartphone-Free Childhood.